Hi, what's up,
Hey.
y'all? What's up, Black Comic Lords fam? It's the Black Comic Lords ladies. We're here today so we can chat all things Nubia and check it. We got a special guest, the one and only Stephanie Williams.
Hello. Hey, happy to be here.
Oh, we're so happy to have you. We love to see it. We love to have an expert amongst the gang. So, yeah, we're just going to jump right on into it with some introductions for those of you who are new or for those of you who are coming back to give us some of your time. We appreciate you. My name is Bree from Bree's Bookish. And we have Tamiko
Your
and
friendly
Angel as well.
moderator.
Absolutely. So yeah, y'all, we're gonna go through all things Nubia today and then just chop it up like we usually do. And we have our resident perfectionist historian Tamiko. She's gonna get right on into the deets about the origins of Nubia.
All right. So, of course, today, all hail Queen Nubia. All hail. That's the only queen we recognize up in here.
Facts.
So, this lovely character was created by Robert Koniger and Don Heck. Okay, she debuted in the 1973s. Okay, in Wonder Woman 204. Okay, her beginning origin, she was introduced as Wonder Woman's long lost fraternal twin sister. The origins, were pretty dicey back then, because basically they had this where Hippolyta, after she became leader of the Amazons on Themyscira, she wanted a child and nothing around her but women. So she created a child out of clay that became Diana. But she also created a child out of dark clay who became Nubia. So, of course, being blessed by the gods and everything, they were just fine until Ares decided to come and mess things up on the island, trying to mess with the Amazons. He steals Nubia away and raises her as a warlord on another island. So, and of course, Hippolyta says nothing. Diana just goes about ignorant of the fact that she actually had a sister until Wonder Woman 204. So, at turns, of course, she was portrayed as a parallel version of Diana herself and as an inheritor of the Wonder Woman titles in future timelines. And historically, she is the DC's first woman superhero. Now, I know that some people sit there and say Bumblebee was it, but Bumblebee debuted after Nubia. So, Nubia's the first. Lovely. Okay. Just love how things just, decide to make
It feels
themselves
like
known.
that.
Yes, we're all the way live here.
Yes, very live.
As we go on, okay, DC had their crisis on Infinite Earths. They're supposed to shake everything up and reset the table for DC superheroes. So everyone, including Wonder Woman and her supporting characters, were reimagined. Now, she wasn't really around for most of the rebirth and the 52s until Wonder Woman Volume 2, Annual 8. Okay? She was reintroduced as Nubia with the accent Nubia in 1999 by Docile Young and Brian Denham. Now, that annual, it was a bit questionable because it was part of the ongoing JL8 series. So, I wasn't too keen on it until, I actually went through it and then it's like, okay, all right. So there wasn't portraying Nubia as the eight. They had some other eights running around, pretending to be an Amazon and things like that. So this is where she was reintroduced. She was a Themysciran Amazon who won the Tournament of Grace and Wonder, like Diana did. And then she became the Amazon's first champion. And her mission was to guard Doom's doorway. So that's where we have the introduction to, Amazons keeping out all the nastiness from coming into the world by guarding this doorway. And it was an entrance to the river Styx and Tartarus Gate on Themyscira. So she guarded it from the inside. So she went in, and that was it. And of course, as long as the doorway was closed, nobody knew what was going on. Nobody knew she was alive or dead. They just figured, well, she's doing her own thing there. And of course, they still didn't tell Diana, which, you know, I'm not going to step on my feminist soapbox just yet.
Okay.
I'll be good. I promise. Okay, so of course, we will have some hellos. Hello to Chad. Hello to Teeb.
Yeah.
And hello to Kevin. All right. So, after this particular instance, we come now to her modern era depiction. Okay? She's not a sibling of Diana anymore, which is okay because that first origin was really dicey. So
It was rough.
still the champion, yes, she's still the champion of Doom's Doorway and a successor to Hippolyta as queen of the Amazon nation of Themyscira. So, tell me, ladies, what do you think? What do you feel?
I'm just gonna say it. I had to get my fangirl moment out, y'all, for real, because when we first started getting sneak peeks of this artwork before the book even dropped, I was like, take my money immediately, just take my money. I'm collecting every variant cover for this and did on period. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is so dope. But after hearing your great like introduction about like her origins, I just really want to hear from Stephanie, like when you were given this humongous undertaking, like obviously you had to like read the origins and that type of thing. I know you had to just shake your head and be like, all right, where am I going to take this? Like speak candidly, like how are you just like absorbing all of that and deciding like, all right, we're just going to do away with these aspects of it and take it down this road? Because that's what I want to know.
Wow. So, it's funny. So when I was first approached, I didn't even know that I would be writing Nubia. I thought I would just be writing some Amazons. Lita Ayala had reached out to me and was like, "Hey, Steph, I spoke to an editor at DC. I gave her Living Heroes and also pointed her in direction some of the stuff that you've written, right?" I was like, okay, well, thanks, Vita. I really appreciate you, holding it down. And the week that, thank you, the week that Marvel Voices Legacy dropped, which had my Monica Rambeau story in it, I spoke to the editor at DC and like talked her ear off about Diana, just the Amazons in general. And funny enough, my piece about the Dora Milaje, because I had written like a kind of academic approach to their history from the comics to the movies, just kind of illustrating their growth and the questionable aspects there and how they were later kind of retconned and fixed, especially my girl Nakia, because what the hell. So with all of that in mind, the editor was like, okay, well, from that, like, I think that you would have a firm grasp on the Amazons and who they should be and all of this. And I was like, okay, girl, if you believe that, I believe it too. So they asked me if I wanted to pitch a story for Wonder Woman Black and Gold #2. And immediately, again, not even knowing that I was writing Nubia, I was like, I want to have Nubia there, but also with Diana, because oftentimes I would see them kind of pitted against one another, which was always this thing of, you don't really have to tear other women down to build others up. Like, I'm just kind of like, everybody can be great in their own way. And even though, and I'll get into how I feel about Nubia's origin, even though I felt a way about that, I still love them being kind of like these rival sisters that pushed each other, but they still had love for one another, right? And I wrote the story that was kind of like this American Gladiators type vibe for the Amazons, because why would they not be doing that on Themyscira? And then the editor was like, hey, so like Vita is going to talk to you about your story. And I'm like, 8 pages? I mean, I don't want to waste Vita's time on 8 pages. But okay. So Vita and I are talking for like an hour. And Vita was like, okay, yeah, cool. Like, no, you got that. Let's talk about Nubia. And I was like, what the hell do you mean? Let's talk about Nubia. So that is when it finally dawned on me that I would be co-writing Nubia with Vita Ayala. But Vita was like, no, this is actually your ship. I'm here to kind of help steward it, but I have all the faith in the world that you can tell the story that you in the way that you need to. So going back to my history with Nubia, I used to do a podcast called Misty Knight's Uninformed Afro, and we covered Nubia. We covered almost all the women that I've written so far. And I hope I didn't give anything away by saying that, but I remember reading that Nubia origin story and thinking, wow, so I like older comics. I know that I shouldn't, but it's a certain je ne sais quoi to them that I appreciate the soap opera-ness of it all. And as problematic as it was, there were pieces there that I did find interesting. I really love the fact that Nubia was this person that was going to show up on someone's front doorstep, not take her shoes off and come into the house and say, hey, I've come for my things. And I very much wanted to keep that, but remix it. So when we were tasked with redoing her origin story, I was like, oh, God bless. Because I wanted to give her an origin that still made her a part of the sisterhood. So for her to be born in or reborn in Amazon, but to leave space so that we can tap in where she came from before, which I was able to tackle in Nubia, Queen of the Amazons. So it was the whole thing of she's somebody who's always destined to be a queen. That just got cut short, and now life takes us places. We have little other dreams become obstacles and whatnot, even though they're dreams, even though they're good stuff, but they kind of take up time. So with all of that being said, I was like, yeah, I want Nubia to be an Amazon so that we can really get into why you should care about these women. Because if you don't care about these women, then why do you care about her being queen? Right?
Yeah.
And I also wanted to build Nubia in a way where you thought of her and you didn't have to find value in her and her proximity to Diana, because that's trash. Like Nubia should be able to stand on her own without just being in Diana's shadow. And this wasn't a thing of she's better than Diana or anything like that. No, she's Nubia. Diana is Diana, and that's what it should be. So with yes, and also if Nubia was older than Diana, and young Diana, the story that Jordi Belair was working on, we were able to kind of see some stuff there that Nubia and Diana had this still sisterly relationship, because all the Amazons are still technically, they have a sister camaraderie, even though they sleep with each other. But I guess I'm gonna get into the nitty gritty of that. But someone that would later on you could see show Diana some of her showed her some pointers and things like that, but also again was like still very much herself. So I really love the whole thing of her being champion of Doom's Doorway. I thought that was amazing, because again, we don't need to reiterate that Nubia is strong, that she is cunning, that she's witty, she's all these things, because she would have to be champion of Doom's Doorway long. So that was great, which allowed us to really focus on the other aspects that made her who she is, why you should root for her, because she is somebody who is going to, take care of her personal needs, even though she needs to go ahead and find a new champion for Doom's Doorway.
Absolutely. Wait, the pause, because getting into it, sis, I was like, come on. She was like, I'm gonna need me some razzle dazzle so that I can wind down a bit, because this is a big decision. And I also love that it wasn't like throughout the course of it, it's just this one person that she's dealing with. She's like, no, I'm a queen and
She's
I'm
been around for a
handling
long
myself
time.
accordingly. Right. Like,
Yeah.
you think anybody can contain this? Absolutely not. But it wasn't, it was done in such a way where it's like, you respect her regal, powerful presence, but she's still a whole person, like handling her emotions accordingly. So I thought that was very well done. Like,
Thank
can I,
you.
yeah, it was, I very much appreciated it. Like, also the way that you mentioned Amazon's approach life from a sisterhood perspective, but they're also intimate with some of each other, you know, as they do. And it's so funny seeing the fanboys be big mad about this dynamic. Like, like, oh, this there's an agenda, or
So
there's a this, or there's a that. It's like, no, what do you
no.
think like would happen with all women in a space? Like,
So
it,
so the thing there, so in my research with Nubia, it wasn't just comics, because it just couldn't just be comics.
right.
It never is for me. And next to comics, romance novels are things that I read down. Like that next to my comic collection, from the Brenda Jacksons, the Beverly Jenkins, Reese Ryans, all of them. Like that's where I read my first stories where I found Black women who were not only empowered but allowed to be vulnerable in all these things. And I feel like a lot of that rubbed off and helped me write this woman who is a superhero but with a human element, because so many times a lot of just Black women in general, not even just on the page, you're strong, you're all these things, but like, yeah, but sometimes I break, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes I break, and that's completely fine. So I wanted to kind of do that fine line. Oh, and what are her powers in this iteration? So Nubia is strong as fuck. So that's very clear.
Hey.
Um, but she does have an affinity for mystics. So in the way that she's able to use her lasso, that is very much connected to who she is. And I guess we can get into what she's able to do for Medusa. But Nubia's powers are still being explored. So I didn't want to put a cap on that, but also didn't want her to be OP. But bringing it back to the relationship, um, so I thought Io was a little spicy white. I didn't realize. First off, they're Amazon, so it's irrelevant. But you know how older comics, like the coloring is sometimes off, and sometimes the color characters who are traditionally white, a little darker with a tan. And I think I had seen one of those for Io, completely forgetting that she was even like, she was never a love interest for Diana. She was somebody who was interested in Diana, but that love was unreciprocated. So I was like, ooh, we got to do a little justice for her too, because blacksmiths still deserve love too. So I was like, so then when I finally found out, like, oh no, she's just regular white, I was like, oh crap. So I was like, well, I mean, we're here now. And for me, I was like, I will be able to do what I want to do for Black love a little later, which I have been able to do in some other stuff. But for this one, again, because they are Amazons, and the way that I'm thinking of it, and the way that I wanted to reimagine them as Sarah, is that they're not beholden to the same stuff that we are in the real world. So because of that, they're going to function a little bit differently, because it would have been very weird to me to have them deal with racial disparities on that island. Because again, if this is an island where women are reborn because they've been, man's world has failed them, it would be really shitty for them to come on this island and still have to deal with the same stuff. Also, with Io being a blacksmith and Nubia being a champion for as long as she was, I was like, they're probably seeing each other more than anyone else, for Nubia to resharpen her tools, try out new stuff, whatever.
I was
So
like, that's smart.
eventually,
She said, I'm gonna pick somebody who's good with their hands and who's gonna make sure that my weapon is on point.
in more ways than one, because as much as Nubia is like, get the strap, she also needs someone that will be able to return the favor. So because both of them give me studdish energy, and I'm like, we can balance that. But so that's kind of where that came from. And I always knew that I wanted Nubia's weapon to be created one out of love, because again, the romance novel reader in me kind of seeing, and I thought that was really powerful. Also, it doesn't get any more queerer than that, than a weapon to be created out of love. So that was kind of like the backdrop to that. But it's not just Io. She Andromeda, and as sad as that was, and I didn't really want to do it to her like that, but when she's out in real world, she had a moment where she fell in love, but duty called her back home. So you have this woman who has always put her duties and stuff at the forefront, like a lot
Yeah.
of us do, and neglect either self care or our dreams and different things that we want to do to benefit others, right?
Yeah.
So I felt like that would be something that hopefully folks would find relatable. Because that's the other thing. Because this is a Black woman who is in the Amazon, there were other ways that I need to go about finding for you all to find her relatable. So her in those first few pages with Aletha's amazing art and that hair, her putting on her armor, her hair being tied up, and that us putting on our armor as we go out the house, be it, makeup, hair, all of these things. I would hope that people would find relatable. And also this woman who was thrust into a new position, right? She went from being champion of Zoom's doorway and then queen. No one's going to question that. Of course, she's going to be challenged.
Right. Yeah.
And that was something on a very personal level I was feeling, because I felt like I had been thrust into the big leagues not out of nowhere, but a lot quicker than I thought I was going to be there. So a lot of the challenges that Nubia was facing, I myself was facing, and still face now, because apparently I wasn't supposed to get where I am as quickly as I did, but I worked.
Another opportunity for a hard pause, because if any of y'all are familiar with so Tamiko has a physical copy. I was not blessed in that respect, but the hunt continues.
I will send
But
you one. I got you.
they absolutely made this. But
I got
yes,
all of y'all.
Living
Yeah.
Heroes. Okay, so for those of y'all who are unfamiliar with this, Living Heroes, it's giving superheroes, but like living color type of vibe. So, and it was excellent. It's a good time all the way through. And if anyone doubted your ability or your point of view after reading that, they're purely a hater. Point blank, period.
I mean, yeah, and unfortunately, that has been loud and clear as of late, because there are Black women who are comic creators, but there's not a lot of us that are on this stage, which is not fun for me. So I feel like more of us to be in this space. So if it's me writing Nubia, Shuri, Wolverines, all of that, right? I just wanna I just wanna show that you do not have to come from a certain background to be in this space. I didn't go to school for this. I thought I was gonna go get my PhD in biomedical engineering, and I was a research scientist for for like 7 years, and I don't know, like after having my son, I was like, this can't be all it is, right? I want to do more. That's when I got into podcasting, talking about comics, other pop culture things, and how I felt about them, and then from there, writing about those things and these characters. And the characters I'm writing for them now, which is weird, but also really exciting. But yeah, like I just hope that if anybody who is at all interested in my story and how I got in this space, like I just want folks to know, like you can do it too. And I know that there are a lot of nuances to that, because it's not as straightforward as that. But no, you don't have to have a degree in fine arts and all these other things, or degree at all, to storytell. Black folks are naturally storytellers. There is a lot of long Black goodbyes where you end up from the kitchen to the front door to the car, and it's been 2 hours,
Right.
and you're still, you're
I'm head out.
Yes, because I think a lot of my storytelling I probably got from my dad. He's a bus driver. When we were living in Chicago for Pace for I think 18 years, then they moved to Charlotte, and I ended up moving to Charlotte after I graduated from college. And Cats, he's been working there, but he always has stories to tell because there's some crazy shit that happens on the bus.
Yeah.
So uh, so a lot of that, I feel like I learned from him. But I think I saw a question about Nubia having a mentee, and maybe I would love for that to happen. If she were to have a mentee later on, I guess my biggest thing is that I just didn't want Nubia to go back on the shelf. Whether it's me writing her or someone else, I just don't want her to go back onto the shelf. And it looks like that's not going to happen. I've seen her pop up in, I think, what Tom King is working on, the new Wonder Woman. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, like she's popping up in some other things.
Definitely don't sleep. So this mention of a mentee kind of piqued my memory about your story in DC Power. You get to see her interaction with Bumblebee, and it's
Yes.
more of like a sister type of vibe. But it could
This is
very
all
easily
women.
transform into something like that. So it's like that
Absolutely.
proximity, fingers crossed, you know, like, and I
I
love
don't y'all think
how,
that? Uh-huh.
okay, okay, I will take that hopeful tone. We will take it.
Yeah.
We just, y'all, you know, you enjoyed the story, so just put it out there into the universe that we get to see more from her. Yeah, just super dope for no reason. And then I also would love the idea of, I have to give you your flowers for making sure that you keep it black as hell at every opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You mentioned that changing her origins, you were allowed to like touch on what her previous life was before she entered, or before she came through the well rather. And I love how you took that opportunity to give us a true-hearted villain from her origins, and also with the giving us the Grace Jones vibes with the,
Yeah.
come on somebody, can I tell you how I hollered? Yeah, y'all speak on that, because I will just fangirl the whole time. But I love it.
Okay.
Like, yes, give me a bad bitch villain, okay? Just do
Yeah,
that. Like, talk more
I
about
was
that.
really excited to do that. I mean, because I love a black woman villain, and I am always irritated when they get retconned because it's always in service, usually to like some guy. So you had Nightshade, she got retconned because her run-in with Black Panther changed her life and she wanted to do better, which is whatever, that's fine. But then she was in service to Nighthawk after that, and I'm just
Right.
like, okay, but like she can like be on her own doing what she needs to do. But with Zilla, it was no, I want someone who comes in and wrecks things, and Nubia can't save her. And again, being cognizant of that, because my whole thing with that was like, ooh, but I did have her save Medusa. And I was like, but that's it is, it is what it is. Zilla didn't want to be saved, and I think that that's okay. Because I wanted to have someone that would be able to be added to Nubia's growing rogues gallery. And it was nice that she was somebody who came from her past. And Nubia comes from, this entire this already established monarchy on Madagascar. Because my point of putting her there was it's an island, so still taking pieces from her original origin story and remixing them. And the coordination special, you see that they still wear the same fuchsia colored um things that she had in that, and she's still leading men and also women in this army that they have. And she's already had connections with the guys with working with Sekhmet, so that was really fun to do, and to kind of show her having this very, I guess, Disney princess kind of vibe to it. 'Cause she has like her little cat, her little tiger. And
Yes.
then also like her dad not wanting her to do this thing, but her saying like, whatever, I'm gonna do it anyway. That kind of affecting her. So that was really fun to do, and I was happy that I was able to do that. A lot of stuff that I pitched to DC, I didn't get a lot of pushback on, which I am thankful for that. And I think it was a combination of things. Brittany Hosier is an amazing editor. And I'm happy that she was one of my first editors that I got to work on something so big, because a lot of the confidence that I gained there was confidence that was not only earned, but it wasn't just, you know, said to me just to, like, you know, well, let's tell the Black girl that she's doing a good job. No, like, I was working my ass off and still do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just really thankful that we were able to do a lot of what we were able to do with Nubia. Because, you know, at the end of the day, like, Amazon's like, this is mythology. These are big, grand ideas. So to have a Black woman at the forefront of that, fighting a Hydra, which I love having like that moment. Even her quarrel with Medusa, I thought it was important. So going in, I knew that I wanted Medusa to be the big bad, because not only were we here to reintroduce Nubia, but also the Amazons in general, and what it means to be an Amazon, what it means to be on Themyscira. So why is it that this woman who arguably fell in the same way that all of the women that came on that island is being punished by the gods? And again,
Yeah.
Circe by Madeline Miller was a novel that I read prior to getting into Nubia. And I'm glad that I did, because she made it very women centric. Because if we're on Themyscira, like, men have nothing to do with this.
Right.
And it's important that they don't. So it's important to explore this island of women, men decentered, and how that is still not perfect, because it wouldn't be. And to have them having their own problems. And Medusa is one of them, because Athena is the one to punish her. But also Athena and the other goddesses are the ones to bless the Amazons that are on the island. And like, what's up with that? So to have Nubia challenged in that way, where she has to no longer really think like a champion, but as a queen and as someone who needs to really figure out where this island stands in the world, because they're closed off. Who gives them the right to be closed off like that? Because there are other women suffering as well. So
Exactly.
just because you all did your time, like, you just get to live on this island, ignore everything that's going on until it comes to your doorstep, that's bullshit.
Right.
And I didn't think a Black woman would just sit there and allow that to be.
And that's
that part.
Oh,
That's exactly why
that's
you can tell the difference. You can tell the difference when you have a Black woman writing something coming from a place of empathy. Like, I don't get to have Black women don't get to toe both sides of those type of conversations. Like, we pick our stance and we have to represent everybody whose voice isn't heard, because we're used to being in that position. So you did it for Medusa, and also the representation with the character Bia, spot on. Like, you cannot be a Black woman in power claiming that you're, you know, having these type of views and not have a place of empathy for life experience as a whole.
exactly.
So shout out to y'all for doing that.
Thank you.
I just have one character
Yes.
that I'm hoping in the future. Niobe is the older sister to Diana and Nubia. So I've been praying in my wish tree. Niobe comes to the forefront, because we need all the powers of all of our Black women of DC to have its own web and collective, so they don't go back on the shelf. So I'm praying.
You know, funny things have happened. Weirder things have happened. I'll say that. Yeah. So like, DC, Marvel, and the work that I've done with them, my thought is always, okay, so what Black woman do I need to bring on along for the Moon Girl story? Shuri wasn't initially a part of that, and I was like, well, Shuri needs to be a part of that. Like, Moon Girl and Shuri need to interact in this way where they're playing video games. Because Lunella's a kid. Like, let her be a kid.
Exactly.
For the DC Power story, I was like, Bumblebee, why not? These for the first two kind of, you know, superhero, Black women superheroes for DC. Let's have them kicking it now. Now with the way that Karen looks, Unfortunately, I mean, I can make some moves, but my hands were really tied on that because of how she's been presented in the DC Supergirl show and so on and so
Mhm.
forth. I am not necessarily a fan of this lighter version of Karen that we're getting. But
Mhm.
listen,
Yeah.
either way, I was like, people are going to be annoyed with this, but I didn't want to shy away from including Karen because I just want to show them hanging out, shopping.
Right.
I think that is important before they get into this very goofy story of, Monsieur Malad taking a whole sympathy because he couldn't get tickets on time.
That story was
But they
just too
are
fun.
thank you, but like
Yeah.
also Black women characters deserve stories like that too.
Mhm.
Too often it's very serious, and that's okay too. It's very serious stories that you have Ironheart, who has dealt with a lot of death. You have Misty Knight, who I think at one point was dealing with infertility. They had that pop up. Her and Danny Rand.
Yeah.
She had like a phantom pregnancy. You have Rocket, who is an amazing character, but early child pregnancy. Again, all important. And I think that all of these stories should exist. But if I'm there, we're going to have a little fun. We'll get into the serious stuff too, but I want to give these characters the same fun stories that everyone else gets to get
Exactly.
because, I mean, it's comics. At the
Yeah.
very end of the day, we're picking this up for entertainment, and I would like it to be a form of escapism in any way. So, again, like we get serious when we need to. So, Nubia talking to Martian Manhunter about being Black in America and why he chooses to do so, and her challenging him on that. But then we also get Nubia playing the harp at the end at her story with Karen. So
Yeah.
I'm just here. I'm thankful to be here, and I'm here to like just bring y'all as many stories full of heart as I possibly can.
And that's
Well, I have to tell
awesome.
you. Yeah. My bad, Tamiko. Go ahead.
No, that's definitely it because I'm a story girl. I mean, first and foremost, I mean, I could hand wave most artworks and complain a little bit when they don't portray us as in many arrays as they should.
Yeah.
But story wise, so we live the same lives as everyone
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
So we should get those stories like
Yeah.
everybody else.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was gonna
Alrighty,
say
so
you're I know we're doing Nubia, but you mentioned these other characters, so I gotta throw it out
I
there.
know, like
Okay, well,
So your
yes.
Moon Girl stories are legit the only reason why I downloaded or subscribed to that app, period. Because I was like, I needs that. And then it wouldn't be me if I wasn't like super Snoopy Boots. I seen your announcement about DC Pride and this Nightshade situation. Can you give us any tea about that? The Black Comic
yeah,
Lords exclusive?
yeah. So,
Yes.
Marvel Pride. I would hope I can go back to
No,
DC
Marvel
next year,
Pride.
but
Sorry.
Marvel. No, no, it's okay. Marvel Pride. No, it's okay. Marvel Pride. Yeah, I got an email. And it's funny. I was at the African American annual celebration in Raleigh when I got that email. I was like walking through the exhibit, waiting for my panel to start, and I was like, "Wait, what?" I want me to create a new character. So that was great. But creating a brand new character to be like a superhero, that is difficult. It's not it's not that easy because there's a lot of stuff that goes into the thought there because I was like, whoever I'm creating, I don't want her to go on the shelf afterwards. So I didn't want her to be tied to Wakanda. I love Wakanda down, but Wakanda got a lot of stuff going on right now.
Mhm.
And I need them to work it out before we get over there. They got a lot going on. And I also didn't want her to be a mutant because they got a lot going on.
yeah.
Too much, in fact. And I love
Mhm.
them down.
Yeah.
So again, just thinking of Black women whose stories I was interested in, but I was like, this could just use a Black woman's touch. I thought of Nightshade. And we're thinking about legacy characters, and oftentimes for new characters, the ones that I've seen to be more successful, they have some type of tie to a legacy. So Spider-Man and them, it's a lot of them. They got a lot going. Everyone's so creative. They got a lot going on. And yeah, I was just like, Nightshade. It's still a legacy, but it's a little different because she is a villain or a villain turned anti-hero or whatever. So I was like, well, let me create a character that has some relations to her. So that is about as much as I can say. But I will say that you will get your Black romance finally, because I was like, ooh, perfect time to do this. So yeah, and also to show her coming from a supportive family, because one of the things that I absolutely adore about Monica Rambeau and why I fell in love with that character is how supportive and involved her parents are.
Right.
And then we don't really get to see that a lot, not even just with Black characters, just superheroes across the board. Somebody's either dead or just something has happened, and this is why we're
Right.
out here. So just kind of taking inspiration from there, I was like, yeah, I want her to come from a family that has instilled I don't know what she's going to need to get through the times, because the world is a very terrible place. So if she's going to go out and she's going to be a superhero, then she needs to have the support system. Now, I can't give too much away, but there's another character that is not Nightshade that she is connected to, and will play a very significant role in her life. I wish I can give y'all more than that, but I really don't want to blow the surprise, but it is another Black woman. Because we're
That's
Black
all
women
right.
down
That just
here.
means we're gonna have to have you back.
Yes.
We will be
y'all
here
get
to chat about
back
that.
in. I would love to talk about it. So June, if y'all, I think it comes out June 14th. So if y'all are ready, then but yeah, like
We stay ready. Let's go.
there's another announcement for another Black character I'm working with over at Marvel. That the announcement will probably come out. This will be for August solicits. So what is that? Was that May? Or is that, or is May? Okay.
May, June, probably.
We'll be here.
Yeah.
We're ready.
Yes.
So like I'm so like I'm busy, be tired, but I'm just kind of like, I'm here, and as the opportunities are coming, then I rarely say no. And I don't say no because most of what's come my way has been aligned with what I would want to do, which I've been thankful for. So also, romance plug, this has absolutely nothing to do with Black folks, but I got to write a story for Magic the Gathering for two characters, Jason Veraska. So there's a little romance going on there. So that's exciting, right? I'm happy that folks don't just call me up for Black History Month, which is really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, because we
y'all
like
heard it here.
365.
Yes, 365. Yes.
Dang, y'all heard it here first. It's a Black Comic Lords exclusive.
I'm really excited for y'all to meet this character. She's got ties to Chicago, because that is where I'm from. That is where I grew up before I got to Charlotte, North Carolina, which is now my new home after a decade now. Jesus Christ, it's been a long time. But I was like, Chicago down, because they need some more characters. They can't just be Ironheart and damn, who else is from Chicago? Okay, well, there we go. There we have it. It's not too many.
Okay. My nosiness just Shanghai asking you to share all your business. Getting back to Nubia.
Yes, back to Miss Nubia.
So what we're going to do here, I'm going to show folks all of her appearances if you want to fall into that rabbit hole, because there's someone here that I didn't even know about.
Yeah.
So, you can take a look at this when you rewatch this live. And
that's crazy. You were able to fit that all on slide. Like that just like a character that's been around since 1973. That's wild.
I was sitting there going, I'm trying to keep this to a low amount of slides, but I was able to do it. So
I know. Well, and that's crazy.
Got her pre-crisis thing here, post-crisis, Earth 23, and other continuities. Because especially the Wonder Woman 77 meets the Bionic Woman, Nubia was in there. And I was like, huh, because I normally bypass things, and it's just somebody that I'm not interested in doing that. And I was like, oh, okay. And then Scooby Doo team up. I was like, Scooby
No,
Doo.
yeah, that's what I was looking at. Like,
In
okay, we have to start this
2014,
now.
Scooby-Doo Tina,
Yes.
I got that one down.
And that
Yeah.
Supergirl one is hilarious because she's comatose for like all of that issue. She does not
Okay.
help. Yes.
So, if you want to be further versed in where Nubia ended up in the DC universe, okay, I'm definitely going to put this on blackcomic.net so that way you guys can check that out. And of course, I had other images because, of course, while we love the bombastic hair and everything, we had some other iterations of Nubia that was shown, of course, in the original. Because it was really cute that, bluish black hair, so dark that it turned blue,
Right.
Diana's
Yeah.
twin.
Weird colors again.
And we love a silk press because you're
Yes.
clearly that's holding up while you're sweating. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then definitely in the year one, she was able to keep it close, because
Yes.
sometimes, you don't feel like doing your hair all the time and you got to save the world and keep your sisters safe. So the images of Nubia in other ways and other things. So that's for that. Okay. And we're going to take a quick little commercial break and we'll be back with more Nubia.
Comics are different. Those things cannot be returned if they do not sell. Okay. So that means that if they buy 10 copies of Monica Rambeau Photon and nobody buys it, they eat that money. And your local comic shop is, the margins are very thin, right? Times are hard for everybody. And so what that means is that it gives comic shop owners incentive to be very risk averse, right? And so you could order a bunch of Batman and you know that every month people are going to come in and buy Batman. It's often characters of color, new characters, lesser known characters where they're like, I don't know, this could be good, but if I put this on my shelves and people don't buy it, I lose money. And I'm sympathetic to that. That's a real assessment that they have to make. So the way that we avoid that is you go in and you pre-order. So Paul goes in 3 months before the comic set comes out and says, hello, I would like to pre-order Monica Rambeau Photon #1. I'm not going to wait till it comes out. I'm telling you now that I want it. And at that point, they're like, okay, let me go ahead and order this. And in the comics world, that is the sale that counts. By the time you come into a store and purchase a comic book, that sale does not count. I know it is ridiculous. It is very silly. That is the way it is. The sale that counts is when the store orders it from the distributor. That is what they are counting. And so what that means is that when you go in and you pre-order things, it actually gives that store confidence. Like, okay, Paul said Paul's going to be back and spend his $5 on this book. So we're good. If we order this one, we know it's going to sell and we can pay our rent. We're not going to be eating this cost this month. The best thing to do is your subscription or your pull list where you go in and you say, I want you to put these in every month for me, right? And then they will set that aside in a box.
Message.
And we are back. And shout out to Dr. Ewing.
Yes.
We are going to definitely be on the wait for the next Black Panther iteration. So
I cannot wait.
We're going to pre-order. Okay. We're not going to leave her on the shelf. We're not going to leave her behind. She is a Black comic lord, and we are part of her goon squad. So y'all
absolutely. So run and cop that. And she's coming back to chat spoilers with us about Monica Rambeau. So make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss out.
All right. So now we of course go on to our modern iteration. Okay. So to catch Nubia in her modern iteration, we have the miniseries and the specials. She of course comes back up in Infinite Frontier 0. Very interesting story. Her and her Aunt Nancy. And then, of course, that rolls right into Future State, Immortal Wonder Woman as the B story. And then, of course, we have Nubia and the Amazons. Then we go into Trial of the Amazons and in going into the Coronation Special. Now, I had my thoughts about Trial of the Amazons. That's going to probably be a whole nother live. So we'll leave it at that.
Fair.
We'll leave it at that. And then, of course, Nubia was Queen of the Amazon. And then, of course, the special Nubia and the Justice League. So don't forget to cop those now. Don't forget to cop those. So now, of course, the covers, the artwork.
So good. So good.
Just brilliant.
Oh,
Oh,
I mean, I busted my budget, seriously, because I got almost all of them.
all of them? Yeah.
Every time. I did get everyone with zero shame.
And David Mack was really nice. I got that the cover by him signed. I was sitting next to Sway at NYCC, so I like just slid everything his way. Sway is the sweetest and the best. But David Mack was really sweet and nice. I had to go look for a coronation special because I had forgotten mine at home. And I think I jumped the whole line of people because he had like a line. He was like, "Don't worry about them." He was like, "Let me sign this because I really love what you did." So that is all near and dear to my heart. I think I've had almost everyone sign the covers when I've seen them at conventions, which has been really cool because it's been mostly Black folks.
That's what's up. I also love that we
Yeah.
got that Max cover on the naked hardcover too.
Yes.
Like I was like,
Mhm.
get into it. I always love when you get, because I'm a hardcover whore, so I'm gonna buy all the individuals and I'm gonna get it in
Oh.
hardcover because that's the one I could love on.
And I have some news. Nubia and the Amazons, there's a paperback. So all the paperback girlies, if you've been waiting on that, I believe it'll be out in November or December of this year. So there is a paperback coming.
Nice.
All right, get your trade. Get your trade. We have nothing against trades here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. For those of y'all who can't wait for the paperback and weren't able to cop the single issues, these hardcovers are gorgeous. And under the jacket, we get the extra art under the jacket. We got the David Mack cover,
Oh, okay.
The
Now-
swag,
cover.
yes.
and then the other one. Which one was this underneath here? Can we just? And this one was a wraparound.
Oh, nice.
Get all the way into it.
Sway really did what needed to be done.
Right?
Mhm.
I feel
Yeah.
like Sway always does what needs to be done.
Always.
Had me copping covers for books I don't even typically buy. For real.
That is the power of
Yeah.
Sway. And
Okay.
again, he is the sweetest soul.
Aw. But yeah, these hardcovers are gorgeous. Copped every cover and then turned around and copped the hardcover so I don't damage them, because I'm that person who's like, but I want to read my book.
Me
Mhm.
too. Me too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Definitely. Also, Jen Bartel too. I mean, she's wild. But this course-
Joelle really put her foot in
Joelle
because I kept saying, like, I want Joelle to do a cover because the first iteration of Nubia's costume or new armor, Joelle drew, and I was like, I knew Joelle would give us cunt, and she absolutely did with that middle cover. Now, Rihanna, Nubia,
It's beautiful.
It's
I
very
love
much
it.
Rihanna.
Yeah.
it's definitely Rihanna. So I was like,
We were just talking about how sad we were that they cut the sneakers off of the original art.
Yes, which I was surprised they had did that. And then also the other cover with Nubia and the young girl. I was so happy when I saw that because I was like, ooh, thank you so much, because we need to see that.
Yes.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, I'm just realizing in all my excitement, I forgot to announce that in the beginning of the show, we're giving away one of those Rihanna covers variants. And so you guys will see more details about that say again.
No, it's like I didn't know that you all were giving away stuff because I would like to. If I send you 2 signed copies of the hardcovers, would you give those away?
Yes.
Oh,
All
I
right.
would keep those. I'm not even gonna lie, Stephanie. If you
Okay,
send me
I will
those, I'm
send
keeping them.
But then don't send them to her then.
Like, you know what? Stephanie sent me signed editions, so I gave away my original copies. That's what happened.
You know what?
That's
I
wrong.
wouldn't even be mad at that. I wouldn't. I would not be mad at that at all.
Okay, so what does someone have to do to get those?
All right, so
Oh,
because Stephanie is sweetening the pot, we'll let her pick, and then we'll make it so that way you let people who come back for the replay have a chance to win something too, because we do realize it's early for some. I'm a West Coaster, so it's a little early for me.
now, is there a way for someone to show proof that they've pre-ordered Eve Ewing's Black Panther?
Absolutely. If you can show
So,
in your Comic Hub pre-orders, like take a screenshot of your pre-order, we can get behind that.
all right.
Mhm.
I would like to see that.
All
Because I
right.
really love for that book to do well. Not only because Eve Ewing is an amazing writer, but it is really cool to see a Black woman writing Black Panther. Again, it is always important that we're able to write other Black women, but I am a strong supporter of Black women writing characters that do not look like them because everyone else gets to do it, so why not us?
Right. That
Facts.
part.
Okay, so if you watch this live and watch it on the replay, okay, send us a screenshot of your pre-order. Send it to blackcomiclords@gmail.com, and we'll let you know if you're the one who gets to win this lovely package from Stephanie Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just got real, y'all. Yes.
So, okay, so, and of course, on Things from Another World, you can always use the Black Comic Lord link from Things from Another World. Okay, that's going to be in our description, so check it out. Check it out. So let's go through a couple of these comments here before we let you go. All right. From our CEO, could you bring back Nubia's original silver and gold armor?
Absolutely. That may or may not already be happening. So listen,
Just keep it up.
whenever I can do a thing, I'll do a thing. So perhaps.
Let's do the thing.
Can't wait. All right. And hey, the guy McCloud. Good morning, good
Hello.
afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. All right. And then, of course, our CEO also comes back with her first appearance in a modern iteration is Wonder Woman Volume 5, number 75. That's on the list, sir. I got
Yes, it is.
it. On the list. We know what we're doing.
Rewind.
Right. On the list. Okay. All right. And from Black Nerd Comic Conspiracies and Speculations, I know it was hinted, but is Nubia at least Wonder Woman's equal as far as abilities, powers, strengths, etc.? As a fan and as one that actually owns her first appearance, I just have to know.
I would say yeah, she can't fly because they were like
No.
no flying for her.
No.
But I would say absolutely yes. You can't be Champion of Doom's Doorway not having a little extra sauce. So yeah.
Too much sauce.
Oh, definitely, because it's just as powerful. And also with the iterations that all Amazons have, I think to be able to, let me see here, possess the ability to relieve their bodies of physical injury and toxins by becoming one with the soil and then
Right.
reform the body again. And of
Yes.
course, immortality. Let's see
Right.
here. Cold sight, which is interesting. I think you touched on that.
So sorta, but not really. I wanted to remix that, and that was essentially her whole thing with Medusa. So instead of that, Nubia has the ability with that staff to kind of see it's not just because the truth is subjective. That was difference between her spear lasso type situation versus Diana's lasso of truth. So not necessarily cold sight, but she gonna get to the heart of the matter so she could see that. And I thought that was far more powerful than just her being able to turn other folks to stone, because
Okay. Awesome.
And taking God power into herself. So, that could manifest in a number of ways. So I just can't wait to see that.
Yes.
So she is pretty much Diana's equal, because I mean, Diana treats her as such in Trial of the Amazons and everything, So that's pretty much where we're rolling. That's where we're rolling. So,
don't sleep. Period.
Don't sleep at all. And that's gonna be real relevant real soon. So yeah.
All right.
Blowing my mind with this, Stephanie.
Yes. That's the best way to leave us wanting more. That's the way I like it.
You know what? I just want to say, just to give you all your flowers. I am just so thankful to you all for supporting Nubia the way that you have. Because I mean, hell, to bring a character back that hasn't been around for so long but still has a fan base means that folks had their own iterations of Nubia living in their heads. So how do you compete with someone's imagination? I don't know, but I was hoping that if I just came at it with some heart, that y'all would pick it up. So I'm just so thankful, and I'm thankful that y'all exist, period, because again, like, being a Black woman in this space can be alienating. It can. It can be lonely sometimes because everybody act up. It ain't just the white folks. I'll just leave it at that. So I am just so supportive of you, just appreciative of y'all being so supportive, and just thank you for all that you do. Thank you for being so amazing, so beautiful, and I just thank y'all.
And we thank you. So
we love to see it.
Stephanie is now a Black comic lord as well, and we are part of the Goon Squad as well. So nobody act up, because I'm watching. So nobody act up. Okay.
Thank y'all.
Wait. This is my first time getting to interview you in this space, and I don't. They act like they have a little more sense than I do. But since you're officially Black Comic Lords fam rather. Have you given your It's Black Comic Lords intro?
I have not.
All right, we about to do this right now. All right. So gather your spirits.
So what do y'all need me to say? Let me
you're just gonna look into the camera and say, you are here with the Black Comic Lords.
All right.
In your own time.
Sorry, the AC just kicked on because it's already 80 degrees here in Charlotte. All right. Yeah. You are here with the Black Comic Lords.
Yeah.
Yes.
Every time. We love to see it. Yep. She's officially fam now. Run and go cop that. Pre-order gang. Do the thing.
Yes.
So whatever.
Pre-order away. Y'all better go pre-order all the things from Black women when you see them.
Wait a minute. Our CEO wants a specific one. So
okay. I got you.
Tell us who you are, and that you are a Black comic lord.
All right. Retake.
All right. I am Stephanie Williams, and I am a Black comic lord.
There we go. Awesome.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
We love to see it. Yes. Pre-order all of that, so that way when we have her back to chat, you'll already be up on everything, okay?
Yeah, keep that Marvel Unlimited subscription. It's more stuff. They got me busy over that, child. They been pass me around like a hookah.
It's the only way you can get her Moon Girl story, and it's so good.
All right, and we thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
Yeah, thank you.
We appreciate you. We love you. We appreciate love.
Love y'all too.
Anytime something goes down in Pike, you let us know. We got you.
All right. Y'all will be getting emails from me probably in the next couple of weeks.
All right. Waiting. We will be waiting.
We are ready.
And if you, of course, love this content, you like this show, like, comment, subscribe to the Black Comic Lords here. And of course, we'll be coming back at you next month. We're going to be talking about Live Wire. So we're going to get into, the independent girlies around here. Since everybody, I've been hearing some noises about all y'all did with Marvel and DC. Well, guess what? We got something for you, so stick around. All right?
And I got something for you too, independent girlies.
See?
Oh.
All right.
Come again.
Appreciate Stephanie for what she's doing for us, y'all. Appreciate
Okay.
it. For everything with her name on it. Don't matter what it is. Just get it.
Yes.
Get it. All right. So we will now take leave. We thank you for hanging with us this afternoon. And always, check us out on other social medias, okay? I can be found at BCL Star Dancer Supreme pretty much everywhere else on the internet. Angel?
A for Amazing on all the social medias.
Bree.
And I'm Breeze Bookish, BrisBookish.
All right, and of course, if you want to follow Stephanie on Twitter, at Steph I Will with underscores.
And that's Instagram and TikTok too. So wherever you are, I may be there too.
All right. Okay. So we thank you and we leave you with, of course, our ongoing thing here. Buy the comics, read the comics. Do not spend your rent money on comics.
Right.
Stick to your budget.
Stick to
All
your budget.
right. Yeah.
Bye.